Hello. How are we all? Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Barry Robertson. You've probably heard me quite a lot now from Stories from the Grey Hill, our audio drama podcast. And we're live streamed today with playwright Birgit Itzy and cast member Sarah Miko. And you probably heard Sarah in a lot of our audio dramas. Sarah's a wonderful actress. And today is literally just a chit chat. So grab yourself a cuppa. If you're on Facebook or if you are on YouTube, you can send us a question directly and we can put it to our cast here and we can answer some of your questions. Hello guys, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. How's things? After all these storms, are we all okay, all safe?
Yeah, they were pretty crazy, weren't they?
They were mental.
You're both on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I'm in the Eastern, so it was a bit windy.
Oh, it was quite bad over here. Even the other day, I took my dog out a walk and I was drenched when I came back in. It was so windy.
So it was on a lead, so you still have your dog.
Oh yeah, I still got a dog, thankfully.
Toto.
I know. He survived.
This is how it's gonna go, yeah?
Yeah.
So one of the things which was great about Stories from the Grey Hill podcast is it's a podcast filled with lots of audio dramas that allow playwrights to bring together new, fresh ideas that would be originally written for theatre. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit more about the podcast and maybe from your perspective why a podcast of new theatre writing is important?
Yeah, well, I'll do my best. In my opinion, it's a really interesting medium to use. It is, as we were saying just before we start recording, it can be really immersive with all the sounds that you can use, obviously the way you edit it, which by the way, I don't envy you or anyone that has to edit it at all. Probably hear many, many mistakes and many. Sorry, can you just do that again? No, I think
sounds like me.
Yeah, that's a very polite version of you, Barry.
I know, very true.
No, yeah, I think it's a very immersive one. And as I was saying just before we started, the Pure Baltic one that we did, I think in particular, so immersive with the soundscape and just I think because the way that's written is so visual, you can really sort of close your eyes and just picture it in your mind. And I think that's really powerful. And more accessible in a way, like a lot of people can't always get to the theatre or whatever, so it's nice to have something to just listen to.
What about yourself, Birgit? From a writer's point of view, why would an audio theatre podcast be of interest to a writer? What being involved in this podcast has it done for you? Has it allowed you to achieve anything than currently? I know you're based in Aberdeen, so opportunities outside the Central Belt are a lot different. But what made you want to be involved, and have you seen a difference of being part in the podcast?
There is definitely a huge difference. I'm starting from the last question. Not only because I'm based in Aberdeen, but also because I've lived in Aberdeen and in Scotland only shortly over 4 years now. So coming from abroad, just raising that awareness, and I'm even here, I do those things, I'm a writer, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and this is how my mind works. Also having the background from audio production, I studied in uni. And I quite enjoy that kind of writing style where I can create images, and there is no that medium that people can absorb information visually, because it's said that we get 70% of the information through our eyes. So how to transform readers and the listeners to that world that I want to describe them, just using my words.
Yeah.
That is not even my native language. That was definitely challenging, and we can call it professional growth, I believe. also the story wanted to introduce my world from how finding my in those two here in Scotland and back in Estonia.
Yeah.
So just introducing that different mindset, also different vocabulary, and that story is pure Baltic particularly. It was actually written as a homework from my writing coach. He gave me a task to write a story about winter without using W and just like no W at all. But I misunderstood, so I didn't use W as the first letter, but there was still like words like snow and other ones. And then I developed that story after that homework.
Mhm.
And I find that expression pure Baltic very amusing.
Mhm.
I think it's just hilarious, coming from the Baltic state,
Yeah.
the northernmost, and then if it's a bit cold and windy, then it's pure Baltic, and I'm thinking like it's just 5 months of spring.
We like to be extreme.
Yeah, we do.
Mhm.
When people ask why did you move to Scotland, then I sometimes say because of the weather, and I'm not even joking.
That's crazy.
So,
Don't think I'd survive in Estonia.
Yeah, there's plus degrees right now as well, but it's not going to last for long. There's still February, there's still March. So the weather we're encountering now in Scotland, that comes in April.
Whoa.
Yeah.
God.
And spring is usually like 2-3 weeks maybe, and then comes what we call summer, but actually it's just bad skiing weather.
So when it came to the podcast and getting your writing out there, because obviously you said it's not in your native language, what did that do for you? Obviously, it's a massive change coming from Estonia to Scotland, and then all of a sudden I could be part of a podcast that's primarily a theatre audio drama platform. What did that do for you?
The night that you gave me the news that I'm chosen, or just in a long term, like professionally?
Yeah, both really. Yeah.
Okay. The night that you broke the news that you've selected my stories, I was just jumping up and down and just couldn't handle my joy really well. But composed, there's a lot of people that I was delighted or thrilled. But long term, I'd say it definitely boosted my confidence. And as I mentioned, just challenged me to write in a different way, just make my message understood well. And I think it raised my credibility as well as a writer, definitely. Or Sarah, what do you think? What this thing does with the playwright having those things out?
I think that's a good question. What do you think, Sarah?
Sorry, what was the question?
What do you think, like from your perspective, what does it do professionally with a writer whose stories are chosen into a podcast?
Well, yeah, I'm not a writer. Unfortunately, I wish I could write. But I think obviously it gives you exposure, which is a good thing. Getting your stories out there, getting them heard, getting your voice out there, and also, I guess like this, bringing you together with actors and creators and editors and different people to sort of work together and collaborate. Yeah, I think that can only be a good thing, making connections.
Yeah, that's why I passed it over to you first. I was like, oh, I'm too in this to answer this question. I would love to hear what Sarah thinks. I think it's also a thing of, we find out in March in terms of public funding cuts, and there are going to be massive funding cuts in Scotland. So to be part of something like this as an early stage concept, I think what it does is it brings theatre to a much wider audience, and even the analytics who's listened to the Spotify podcast already has shown that it's primarily women. It's primarily the UK and then America, which is really exciting. I mean, the reach of theatre writing in Scotland to even leave locally, an early stage concept, for me anyway, it's such a small audience in comparison to the wider demographics. So to get that space, to me, is quite exciting because it completely opens up audience reach, which is great. And not only that, with the stories now recorded, they'll sit into the two theatre stores where they are at the moment. There's the Theatre Royal in Dumfries and Galloway, and then there's the Gaiety Theatre in Ayr, where you can go and download them. So they're yours to keep, or you can join the subscription either via Apple Podcast, Spotify, or the two theatres, and then they're there for yours to listen to whenever or wherever you are. So I think that's really exciting because we've never had that in theatre.
Yeah.
But not only that, the money that's generated from that supports us to create another season of Stories from the Grey Hill, and it allows theatres, in my opinion, to connect with new playwrights, and allows them to find out what audiences like, what audiences don't like, and allows them to directly talk to you to take your work further, which is great. Because I think when you live in the Central Belt, there are opportunities, but I think when you live outside the Central Belt, there's even less opportunities. So I think hopefully we're crossing that, is what I think anyway.
Hopefully. And it is great to be able to listen to them again and again. As you say, you don't have that with theatre. Like, you go to see a show and that's it, done. And that's also the beauty of theatre. But yeah, it's really, really nice. My fiance was saying that Pure Baltic he thinks would be a good sleep cast, because it's very relaxing to listen to. So I thought that was interesting. You just listen to it.
Because the way you read it or performed it, it was very relaxing.
So it's really me. I did that. No, I think the writing is though, because it's so immersive, and you can picture it, and also the sound in the background, the music's really nice, very relaxing, and yeah. So you can listen to it again and again.
But it's not just Pure Baltic, right? So in the podcast, every playwright gets an hour, and they decide what they would like to bring to the table, if that makes sense. But Birgit, you did 3 pieces for us. So it was Pure Baltic, what it is we're talking about, and then the last one, it's gone off out of my head. What was the last one?
The Time of Our Lives.
Thank you. So there was 3 of them. What made you pick? Well, firstly, what made you go, actually, I've got 3? And were you glad with the pieces that you chosen, or were you just like, here's 3, go for them?
No. I wanted a theme, not just random stories here, there, everywhere. And I also thought, like, what could that theme be that is interesting enough for the audience here? Maybe to introduce something that is a bit different. One of the options is that I'm talking about the things here and give, the different perspective for someone who hasn't been in this culture or environment. But I decided to go with something that is not here, but I look back to those things with someone who's not there anymore either. So that kind of looking back, putting it into a new perspective for me, and taking the listeners to another place, like an audio journey, audio travel. And what I wanted to say, Barry, about the format, what I really like is a lot of the podcasts are like an hour long, or audiobooks that are quite long. I really like that they are short snippets, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So let's say you're taking a bus to go to work, then you just get one story, one way, and then something back. So it's kind of easier to fit into your days,
Yeah.
Yeah.
rather than, oh, this is an hour long, when I'm going to find that time. But I really like that you chose that kind of a short format. But yeah, I'm quite happy. They're all winter stories, and they are winter that is Estonian winter. So we're talking about -25, meters of snow, things like that.
Yeah, I don't think me and Sarah's visiting at -25, are we?
Or maybe if I don't need to go anywhere, if I can stay in and be cozy, fine.
No, it sounds
Well,
really good.
driving on the frozen sea, or ice skating on frozen bog lights is quite an experience.
Yeah, it does look beautiful. Funnily enough, my how would you even, my niece's mum is from Estonia, and they're living in Estonia right now, and she's uploading pictures on her Instagram story, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Like, I will say that, as much as it's very cold, obviously it looks very beautiful.
Yeah, it gets very hot during summers as well. So there are, like, if in winters we've got -20, -25, and sometimes even -30, then during summer you get about 20, 25, and sometimes above +30.
Wow, that's good. That's so extreme. An extreme weather.
And then there are short springs and quite long autumn.
I like autumn. Autumn's nice.
I like 5 months of spring.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we'll take a quick break and we will be back after this clip. Get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Introducing Stories from the Grey Hill, the brand new podcast that will transport you to the world of audio theatre like never before. Dive into a world of gripping narratives brought to life by talented playwrights, as Stories from the Grey Hill presents 12 months of exclusive content. Each week we will unveil a new episode, taking you on an audio theatre drama adventure you won't want to miss. You can subscribe via Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Patreon, or via our theatre venue partners, the Royal Theatre in Dumfries or the Gaiety Theatre in Ayr. By subscribing, you're supporting us to create more audio drama for you to listen no matter where you are, supporting the next season and more talented creatives. For more information, visit www.thegreyhill.com/stories and find out more about all the artists taking part. Welcome back. I'm here with Sarah and Birgit. We were talking about Pure Baltic, but obviously you have two other stories as part of your month, which were released, I can't believe it, back in December. Can you tell us about the other two pieces of writing that you created, Birgit?
Yeah. So what we're talking about is something that I wrote quite a while ago. One of the questions I often did get and didn't know how to answer is, who are you? And I'm usually, quite talkative, but that is a question like, what do you answer to that?
Yeah.
And it was a winter's evening. I was sitting in my bedroom, looking outside, everything that was going on. And then I remembered a particular quote by a famous Estonian poet, that whatever we talk about, we can never word it properly, basically, is the translation. And then just thought started coming, and then I understood that what we're trying to say or talk about and find words for speaks about ourselves. So it's like we are, whatever we talk about, we are talking about ourselves, even when we're not really thinking that we're talking about ourselves. So it is like a reflection or thoughts written down in a winter's evening when you're taking time for yourself to be with yourself and just really look at your thoughts and things that you want to do. The time of our lives actually is something that is partly published back in March 2020 in one of the online magazines, and that was inspired by the behavior that when we go to places, then we take those pictures and then we move on, and then we just want to be there on time, and then we've got a next thing, like even during holidays we are rushing through our vacation, our holidays, and not really realizing and understanding that the time of our lives is right now. And when we go to the nature, then the birds or the trees or the river really doesn't care that we're in a rush.
So true.
Or that we need to fit visiting these places between the nap times of our toddlers. So just another perspective again about things. And again, moments of especially in winter evenings.
Seems like a lot of them are about being present in the moment.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's a good
I
reminder.
think that's why Birgit's stories work so well in audio format. I think when you listen to even just Pure Baltic as an example, one of the free episodes, you start by listening to the surround, you're listening to Sarah, but then you're also picturing all these places. And I think the other two stories that you created as part of Stories for the Grey Hill does this exact same. So it's one of the few where you're actually getting to talk about yourself and put yourself in that position rather than what some other writers have done, not disrespecting them, because you listen to a story, so you're following a character. But in Birgit's instance, you put yourself in that place because of the way it's written, which is lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, you're right. You're not just following a narrative. You're immersing yourself in the narrative almost.
Yeah, this is what is it we're talking about is about. It's easier to talk about yourself. So I at this stage in my writing career, I find writing nonfiction easier than writing fiction. So I'm still kind of developing my courage for fiction in my professional calendar for 2024. But yeah, I've found so far writing nonfiction easier, and it's not just because it's in English. When I'm looking at my journals or my notes, then most of them it's that kind of the same style of nonfiction. Both of my books are nonfiction as well. They're also poems. I've written lyrics for songs. So that's why I'm saying, like, maybe just going to the fiction world is a huge leap in my professional development, and that's something that I still need to do. Maybe not. I don't know. I even haven't had courage to ask feedback for my pieces.
Yeah.
But just the
Sarah, I wanted to kind of turn the conversation to yourself as part of the cast chat, because obviously I think now that technology is opening up and actors, probably put myself in that position, trained as an actor, we're seeing more and more technology coming into fields. What could you tell us a little bit more about the process in terms of, here's a script delivered by Birgit, and then you're having to take that as part of this whole process. What was it like to you? Like, how does it work in your process, and taking what's on that script to then create that character that Birgit's created, if that makes sense?
It's kind of nice working in this format because all you really need to think about is that it's coming across through your voice. You don't need to worry about how you look. I think some of them are recorded in my jammies, which was nice. So yeah, it's kind of nice because it breaks down all that vanity, I guess, that you might have as an actor. When you're on stage, you're on screen, you're like, how do I look? Is my costume right? My makeup right? My hair right? You don't have any of that. So you're kind of stripped back. And it's just what you can evoke through your voice, which actually is quite freeing, I think. I haven't done a ton of audio dramas and things like that. I'm kinda still quite new to it, I would say. Done a lot of like podcasts and things like that. But, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a learning experience. It was very different, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
How would you, because obviously you've done quite a lot through the whole season, how would you compare, say, Bridget's work and the way that Birgit wrote it compared to like one of the other dramas that are more, say, fantasy or more stage drama? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how did you compare the two when you were rehearsing or your first read over? Like, how did you come to that conclusion of who's that character and how am I going to play this character in that certain way?
It's interesting that Birgit said a lot of it's writing about talking about other things to talk about yourself, because I definitely felt that through the writing. I felt like it was more reflective, and poetic. It's interesting you say you wrote poetry in Birgit, because it definitely reads like that. You can definitely see that influence, whereas some of the other plays was more structured in the sense of like the characters are almost more fleshed out. I mean, I would talk about my Australian character that I had.
I love that character. Don't know what you're talking about.
That was interesting. Steve Irwin's turned in his grave. But no, so those characters can be a bit bigger and be a bit like, even listening to it, you kind of know what to expect. Whereas with Birgit's work, it was more kind of almost relating it back to myself and like, right, okay, what am I hearing? What am I getting from this? And how can I then portray that? Yeah, it was quite a different process.
I really loved what you did when Barry sent me that, listen to what has been done. I had to pause because I needed to go and get some tissues. So,
True story. True story.
True story, yeah. So it was really, really positively overwhelming at the moment to hear real actors reading my words. And I really like how there was that kind of calm, you gave the pace, you gave time to think about things. So, thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. That's so nice to hear. A lot of times you do things like that and you never hear from the writer. So it's nice to hear the writer's happy. No, I do. I think that's what it needed. I felt, I don't know, obviously you were on the calls with me, Barry, as well. But I felt like these pieces needed time, like pauses for the listeners to just sort of let it sink in.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was hoping for, that it's going to be, because, just reading wouldn't be different, but I knew I could count on Barry, that he's going to choose professionals. So,
Yes.
For me, it has been an overall absolutely positive experience.
No, it was great fun. And it was funny, Barry playing my son.
I know, it was a last minute thing. I'm like, I'm quite high, like, I'm quite a tenor speaking. And I'm like, oh, I'll chance it. And then when I listen back to it, I'm like, yeah, that'll do. It totally worked.
Yeah, I played it to my son as well, and listen to what they did with your voice.
Oh God.
That's cool. I can call you mum now.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for
voice
sure.
for a
Next
woman
time
as
you're
well,
up,
so it's a bit of contrast.
next time you're up in Aberdeen, then yeah, come on here, son. That sounds so wrong.
Sarah, what is some of the feedback that you've got from friends or family that's listened to Pure Baltic? And also, what's their experience of kind of listening to the first time? Have you had any questions like, what is audio drama? Like, what is this audio theatre? What is this thing you've been doing? Like, any of that popped up? What is some of the feedback?
I feel like I hear those questions every day. What is this? No, as I said earlier, my fiance loved Pure Baltic. He literally, I was out working or something, came back and he was like in the living room, he'd listened to it and he was almost asleep. He was like, that was so relaxing. That was great. So I think that's really good feedback because I think that's what you want from a piece like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really positive reactions across the board. For all of the audio dramas that people have listened, like my family and friends have listened to, it's like I think sometimes it takes them a while to get into because it's so different. It's not a podcast, you know. It's not theatre. It's something in the middle. So I think there's like an adjustment period. But once they're into it, it's like okay, yeah. And my dad said it kind of reminded him of like the radio dramas that used to be quite popular a long time ago. It'd be nice to see them coming back.
Yeah. And more local stories, which is great. And that's exactly why we did it. Do you know what I mean? And Birgit, your Pure Baltic is, I believe, the third most listened to story so far. And bear in mind, we've got a whole year and we're now going into what? I can't believe it. So we've had I think we're going into our fourth playwright. And again, that is 3 stories. It starts this week. We just finished.
And I'm number 3.
Yeah, you're
I'm in
number
the last
3.
place.
No, you're not. Not if we've had 4. You're third. Which is good.
Very nicely put. This is what I'm talking about, the cultural differences. Here you put you in your 3rd place. In Estonia, they would say you're second to last.
Oh, 3rd place is a win.
No,
It's not last.
I know. Watch this. After this recording, we're just going to be like, click play, get me up to number 1. Yeah, no, I think it's really good. But also, I think it's really different because obviously you're only getting the first 15 minutes of your free stories to listen to, and the rest are either behind the subscription or you can download them straight away. So I think it's going to take a while for people to understand where to purchase, or even how to purchase, or even put together radio dramas downloadable at a theatre. So I think it's all new, but it's all very, very good as well.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's a great idea.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was hoping with those stories as well, that these would be nice escapes and opportunities to slow down, because traditionally winter is kind of the time that you do want to slow down, you do want to take time for yourself, maybe think about things. And this is why I was thinking of, winter theme as well, whether it's December, January, or even February, or the weather here is like full spring daffodils and even dandelions are around. But I think winter is a good time to slow down and what you want and how you want to live, and
yeah,
kind of like idea for the whole year that is ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, we're going to take another break just now, and then when we come back, we're going to find out what both Birgit and Sarah's up to next.
Ooh.
Get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Introducing Stories from the Grey Hill, the brand new podcast that will transport you to the world of audio theatre like never before. Dive into a world of gripping narratives brought to life by talented playwrights, as Stories from the Grey Hill presents 12 months of exclusive content. Each week we will unveil a new episode, taking you on an audio theatre drama adventure you won't want to miss. You can subscribe via Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Patreon, or via our theatre venue partners, the Royal Theatre in Dumfries or the Gaiety Theatre in Ayr. By subscribing, you're supporting us to create more audio drama for you to listen no matter where you are, supporting the next season and more talented creatives. For more information, visit www.thegreyhill.com/stories and find out more about all the artists taking part. So I'm back with Birgit and Sarah. We've been talking all afternoon, well, the last 36 minutes, about Pure Baltic, stories from the Grey Hill, what is audio theatre content. And I wanted to kind of come into our last part of this great little online discussion about what's next. So one of my questions is, what do you think's next for digital theatre in this context, in terms of, can you see yourself doing more of it? Is it becoming more popular? Or do you think you'll want to create more live theatre? Like, what's next for you both? Probably start with Birgit.
Live theatre is something that I even haven't dreamed about. Not in my life, like just produce anything for that. I've done short pieces back in uni, and like with hobby actors and stuff, but that has been just it. Yeah, can't think of doing it. Just don't give me ideas, Barry.
Every time we talk, we always end up with a new idea, don't we?
Yeah, both ways, by the way. And I definitely like that short format, I think, better. I think it suits me lengthwise, and about other stories. So if there's need or demand and projects on, I'm definitely interested in participating. I like being a bit thought-provoking in a good way, because I think we don't think enough. And I'd like to invite people to do it more and encourage to do it more for their own benefit. When you said what's next, then books, some more books. That is my project for the afternoon.
Wow.
150 pages that I need to make changes on the digital document. So I'm quite old-fashioned in that way. When I'm doing my edits, I like to do them on paper, and then I'm fixing the digital document. The poems and short stories, they just come when they want. Like during my sunrise walk, or just afternoon walk, or before falling asleep. So they really don't like knock on the door. Hey, can you come? Here I am.
I'm here. I have arrived.
What about? Yeah, no, it does. It totally answers your question. What about you, Sarah? Same question. Like, what do you think? What's next for yourself? But also, can you see yourself doing even more? Do you think the industry will go that way? Like, yeah, just generally, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the industry is going that way. I mean, podcasts are so popular, and I think audio dramas and even like podcasts that are audio dramas, even on the really, really big platforms, seem to be really popular, and big actors are starting to attach themselves to that. So that to me means that that's where the industry's going, which is great, and I loved it. As I said, getting to record in your pajamas, I'm all here for it. Sign me up.
You've just got me going, say it again, but that's no, sorry, no.
Can you do it less bad?
So the marketing campaign could be written in pajamas, performed in pajamas, marketed in pajamas,
Yeah.
produced in pajamas.
Everything done in pajamas.
Yes.
But looking back, I think we did it like nearly every Sunday, didn't we? It
It
was
was a
Sunday
Sunday
night.
evening. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was
So
just, I mean, I think looking back, I'm always surprised how much we got accomplished. But now I think I would do it completely differently. But I think we accomplished quite a lot. I mean, it's a year's worth of content.
no, that's
And it was
crazy.
over like, what, 8 weeks or something? It
Mhm.
was, I mean, the guys literally got the script. Was it something like a week before?
The week before. Yeah.
And then it was literally like record time.
I admire you because all I did was just wrote it, but then you had to do the hard work, I think.
I was just I like every Sunday night I was like saying bye to my fiance, my dog, locking myself in my wee cave with my cup of tea to record this whatever script was on that week. But I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun.
I
But
remember. Yeah, go ahead.
no, on you go.
I remember that when I did like a test recording for Barry, the same for the Pure Baltic. Then we lived in the former place, and my son had like a wardrobe that was under the roof or something. So, and there were shelves,
I remember
and
this.
and I was sitting in that wardrobe. The door was locked, and there was a light on, and some towels and his clothes, and the same headset. And no, actually, I took it off because I needed his voice as well. So I was holding my phone like this, and then when it was his time to say things, mind you, he was 2 years old younger, and he was getting bored by the third take.
That's fair. Oh, the things we do as creatives, honestly. But yeah, in terms of what's up for me next, I'm performing in the Gaiety Theatre near actually.
I did not know this. When are you performing? And should I get my ticket?
Yeah, well, yeah. you should.
Yeah, it's
No,
only down the road.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. No, it's the 15th to the 17th of February, so literally 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're doing 2 shows a day, 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. And it's 6 short plays, so I'm in 3 of them. And they're all quite different, but the theme is day trippers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of general theme. But it's all new writers, directors, upcoming actors, and the company's called Short Attention Span Theatre.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, oh, I should go and see that. And then, I haven't booked it yet. But do you know that way? I was like, oh, I haven't heard of the company before, and I don't know what it's about. So, can you tell us more about the company then, and what it is that they do?
Yeah, so it started in 2015. I didn't even realise this. I was an OG member of Short Attention Span.
What?
I did the very first show, which I didn't realise was our first show, but there you go. Back in 2015. So yeah, it's just usually around Glasgow or surrounding areas we perform. It's the first time we're performing in the Gaiety in February. But yeah, it's always new writing, short format plays, so they're usually only 10-15 minutes long, and there's usually a rough theme. So in the past we've done music artists, like we did Kate Bush, we did a David Bowie theme. Yeah, it's really fun. But yeah, this theme is day trippers, so quite interesting. Lots you can do there, especially when you're set in Scotland.
So who's it run by? Who's the organisation set up by?
So it's Tom Brogan and Karen Barkley are run it, and then they've got a pool of obviously us actors. But this time around, they put a call out for writers. I think they got like 35 scripts submitted.
Wow.
Amazing. Had to whittle that down to 6, so don't envy that.
Nope.
Very tough choices. And yeah, some new directors coming on board to try their hand at directing. So it's a really nice collaborative process. And it's like Bridget was saying, with the audio dramas being shorter, like her runs being shorter, I think these plays work because they are more digestible. And even if you're not really enjoying one, it's fine. It'll go over in 10-15 minutes. You've got it next one.
So it's on for 90 minutes. And how many plays are in it?
6.
6.
6.
And is there a break in between?
Yes, usually there are. Again, it's the first time doing it in the Gaiety, so I'm actually not 100% sure. But I know with your ticket you get a wee roll and a wee drink.
Oh,
So
come on. That's
can't ask for more
great.
than that.
A roll and a drink. Right,
Oh,
I'll need to book my ticket. No, I remember looking at it and I was like, oh, I'll need to go. I'll need to turn up to that. Yeah,
It'd be
okay.
nice to see you in
It's sold.
person.
Yeah, no, it
I've
would
never
be.
seen your
I've only seen each other like digitally.
I know.
A bit
that's
like
so weird.
Bridget, because the last time I was up at Aberdeen was the first time we met in person,
Yeah.
which was epic.
And you got free food as well.
I know.
Oh,
Treated
there's a
me
theme.
to lunch. I literally got off the train and I'm getting pulled into this. What was it? An all-you-can-eat buffet. But it was lovely. The food was lovely.
Wow.
Literally just, and that was the first time I met yourself, wasn't it? Just off the train,
Yeah.
it's like, Barry! It was great.
Free food. There you go.
I know.
Yeah, I think so. Sarah, it wasn't you or your brilliant acting that actually sold that, but it was just a roll and free drink.
It's the free
that was
food.
after. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for. We're easily pleased. See if you give us free food.
The same way how I select Kaylee's where to go. Is it food included or bring your own?
Absolutely. Make or break.
Well, that's great. That's something else to look forward to. And obviously, Sarah, you're in many more stories from the Grey Hill Productions. Literally just done an extra one, was it last week or the week before?
That's right, yeah.
Which is going to be great. Playing a great mum character.
I think I'm entering my mum era. Not in real life, but in casting terms. I'm officially old enough to be a mum.
I think it was quite funny because I was worried about it, and I remember counting all the lines. I'm like, Sarah, I don't need you that long. It's only 18 lines, and I think on recording day, I'm like, oh crap, it's actually like the 19 or 20 because I forgot she comes in right at the very end, and I was like, oops,
So
sorry,
Barry,
Sarah.
because you were playing my son and you were playing Sarah's son, so who's the actual mum?
Oh, starting drama.
Next time on Stories from the Grey Hill.
The drama continues.
The drama continues.
But yeah, no, this has been a great format, and hopefully we can get some more of these. And Bridget, Sarah, you're welcome to come anytime we do these. The plan is to do them once a month, and we talk about more productions from Stories from the Grey Hill, and even just a catch up and go, hey, this is my book, we've got it out, so please let us know. And yeah, we'll put the links in the chat. But thank you very much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate you taking some time out on your lunch to join me and do this live event. And thank you very much for watching. If you like the sound of Bridget's work, you can listen to Pure Baltic, delivered by the lovely Sarah Miko, and it's free to listen to. You can listen to it via Spotify, Patreon, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Alternatively, you can subscribe to the podcast and listen to them unlimited amount of times, or you can download them individually via Airgate or the Theatre Royal in Dumfries and Galloway. And yeah, stay tuned to the website or scan the QR code above to find out more information. Thanks very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Barry. Yeah, I think it was a brilliant idea to bring an actress and a writer together, because otherwise we would have not met, and an hour of laughter and banter would have been missed.
Never happened. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Introducing Stories from the Grey Hill, the brand new podcast that will transport you to the world of audio theatre like never before. Dive into a world of gripping narratives brought to life by talented playwrights, as Stories from the Grey Hill presents 12 months of exclusive content. Each week we will unveil a new episode, taking you on an audio theatre drama adventure you won't want to miss. You can subscribe via Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Patreon, or via our theatre venue partners, the Royal Theatre in Dumfries or the Gaiety Theatre in Ayr. By subscribing, you're supporting us to create more audio drama for you to listen no matter where you are. supporting the next season and more talented creatives. For more information, visit www.thegreyhill.com/stories and find out more about all the artists taking part. Get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Introducing Stories from the Grey Hill, the brand new podcast that will transport you to the world of audio theatre like never before. Dive into a world of gripping narratives brought to life by talented playwrights, as Stories from the Grey Hill presents 12 months of exclusive content. Each week we will unveil a new episode, taking you on an audio theatre drama adventure you won't want to miss. You can subscribe via Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Patreon, or via our theatre venue partners, the Royal Theatre in Dumfries or the Gaiety Theatre in Ayr. By subscribing, you're supporting us to create more audio drama for you to listen no matter where you are, supporting the next season and more talented creatives. For more information, visit www.thegreyhill.com/stories and find out more about all the artists taking part.